Yo, what's up, family? Before we start the video, please give a like, subscribe, and share and everyone that you can. Just get out there a little bit more. With that being said, let's get right into the video. So, this is the first half version of the full initial reaction thing. I like to do this so my judgment of the first half doesn't get clouded by whatever happens. So, the Magic are up 49-48. They had an incredible second quarter. In the first quarter, some things I wrote down. I believe the first play of the game was a kick out three to Jaylen Brown in the corner. He missed it, but it was Orlando scram switching off of, I think KP had a small. There was a play in the January 17th game where they were scram switching also. Tatum got an open three. Again, no gap help. There's no heavy gap help or double teaming, even on mismatches. So Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, they just have to be efficient, taking care of smaller guys and just scoring from two. That'll open up some threes just like it did in the January 17th game. At 21-16 in the first quarter, the Magic had 8 offensive rebounds. If the Magic were a good offensive team, we would be down at least 15 because they had 8 offensive rebounds, but only 2 second chance points. So they were missing a lot of open layups after the rebounds. We got to stop getting out hustled. Right now, it's getting out hustled, allowing Corey Joseph to be on the fucking floor. We have Jason Tatum, we have Jaylen Brown, we have Kristaps Porzingis. Corey Joseph should be getting killed right now. So the first quarter, we were up 26-18. Hit 4 out of 9 threes. Orlando only had 2 threes. 16 of 17 from twos for Orlando. 8 of 26 overall. Again, 8 offensive rebounds. At the start of the second quarter, Payton Pritchard was phenomenal, right? He had our first, 8 points, I believe. He got fouled on a 3, hit 3 free throws, and hit a transition 3. And then Pritchard was the offensive scorer. Yeah, even with Jaylen Brown, Kristaps, and Derek White on the floor, Pritchard was really good. He only played like 4 minutes in that second quarter. I thought he should have played a little bit more, but that's just nitpicking. So towards the back half of that second quarter, Paolo, Franz, they created everything. I think they have assisted or created on 44 of the Orlando 49 points, which we expected, right? Everything on the offense side is going to come through them creating for themselves or for others, right? So Paolo had 12 points in that second quarter. I think Franz had 8. Orlando finding some shooting in the second quarter. They hit 5 threes in the second quarter, right? The January 17th game, they hit 5 threes the whole game. Celtics are only down 1, but it's just like the Magic are out hustling them, more physical. Tatum isn't being as aggressive as he should be. The Celtics were 7 of 20 in that second quarter, 3 of 7 from threes. Orlando had 8 assists in the second quarter. This is a team who is dead last in assists in the NBA, dead last, right? And they had 8 alone in the second quarter. Of course, a lot of that is just them hitting shots. They're gonna take a lot of late shot clock threes because their offense is slow, and when they get into that, they just have to shoot it. They're gonna make some. It is what it is, but we should not panic. And yeah, Paolo had 12, Franz had 8. Celtics, again, stop getting out hustled, play the game, run more angle pick and rolls, force them to switch, and then scram switch, and then you can play off that. On the defense side of the ball, I like what we're doing. Actually, it's just Paolo's gonna make plays, Franz gonna make plays. When the 3-point barrage happens, the game is over, right? Whenever the Celtics string together consecutive 3-point makes and consecutive stops, I think the Magic, it won't be enough. Stop getting out hustled. Corey Joseph has to be we cannot allow Corey Joseph to be on the floor. We can't allow that to happen. But I'll see you guys for the second half. All right, so the Celtics get the first victory of the playoffs. Don't know what the score is. It's like a minute left. The Celtics just pulled all of their starters out. So we'll start at the beginning of the third quarter. Drew Holiday and Derek White really started that third quarter. They had 12 of our first 15 points. Drew had 2 really good consecutive plays. He had a 3, then an assist. We were on a 12-2 run to start the third quarter. Then Drew, great defense. I think he had like there's those plays where he is like very quick laterally and like he guesses where the handler is going and he cuts him off and then he takes the ball. And then he had a pull-up 3. He had 2 pull-up 3s early in that third quarter. Drew, and then he had a play against Paolo where he walled Paolo up in the post. And Drew was just really good overall in the second half. And the Celtics played tougher. Their intensity and their physicality went up, and the score differential went up. Like that was all of it in the first half. In that first quarter, the Magic had 8 offensive rebounds. I believe every quarter, like they didn't touch 8. So the Celtics just continued to play tougher and continued to play harder. And then they got some stuff going off inside the ball. In that third quarter, the Celtics won 30-16. They were 10 for 24 from the field. Orlando was 6 for 20. Kind of like the Celtics second quarter and the Magic third quarter were pretty identical, but something that was really prevalent in this game was points off turnovers. In about the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, the Celtics Franz had a very bad turnover on a fast break where Orlando had numbers. Celtics got a layup off that, And then I believe Sam Hauser blocked Caleb Houston from behind, and we hit a 3. And that was like the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. But in the first half, the Celtics had 12 points, all turnovers. In the third quarter alone, we had 10. And then we had 5 quick ones in the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. And I kind of knew that's where the game was on. My last note is Paolo all alone in the second half. Paolo is just an amazing player. This isn't like a lot of the on-off swing stuff that I saw about him and Franz. Like, I guess it makes sense because I guess you would say Franz is like I don't know. It's kind of weird, but you can obviously see that, you know, Paolo is a really good player. Franz didn't really come to play in the second half. He had a lot of bad turnovers, and Paolo was just getting to his spots wherever he wanted. I feel like we shouldn't allow him to do that, and then these next couple games. But yeah, man, they don't have enough. This is why I wanted to play them, not because they suck, not because they won't challenge the Celtics, not because their play style won't wake the Celtics up. They just cannot score. And it's different when you're playing the Atlanta Hawks. Again, no disrespect to the Atlanta Hawks. It's different when you're playing the Hawks and you're scoring 120 points, right? When you're a top 2 defense in the NBA, but you're the worst offense in the NBA. If you play a bad defense, at some point you can score 120 points. You can you know what I'm saying? The Celtics are still a top 8 defense. While everybody was talking about, oh, they score 121 in Atlanta, they were seeing all these shots. The Celtics are a way better defense than the Hawks. So if you put the worst offensive team against a top 8 defensive team, it's probably not going to go that way. All right, so just some final stats, just for some stuff to look at. Paulo Banchero finished with 36 and 11. Franz had 23, but I think second half he had 8 points. He was 3 for 10, had a couple turnovers. On the Celtics side of things, Derek White, our Lord and Savior. Happy Easter, by the way, if you celebrate it. If not, we can just celebrate you. You know, his development as a Celtic has been absolutely crazy. He was a guy that when he got here, he was all playmaking and a defense. And in the finals, the Warriors game plan to just let him shoot. And, you know, they loaded up on Tatum and it made life for us harder. But he has got through that mentally, like being a guy that teams allow to shoot in the finals, and you were like sometimes hurting us on the offensive side of the floor. That messes with you up here. And he worked diligently with our crew, with our coaches. And he is one of the best 3-point shooters in the league, one of the best 3-point creators in the league. And he's a guy that I trust with my life in the playoffs, man. So, of course, shout out to D. White. Then we got Peyton Pritchard. Hey, there's been a lot of talk about Peyton Pritchard in the playoffs. You know, sometimes against good teams, he doesn't really show up as he does. But Peyton Pritchard, man, this was he came out with a perfect start. That second quarter was really big for us, where he had those points in the second quarter. He got 3 free throws, then he hit a 3. But he was really efficient. I don't remember him really missing. He had 19 points, 3 assists. Yeah, he was 6 for 8, so he was really efficient. No turnovers in his game. Really efficient. So good shit by Peyton Pritchard. When we needed offense, he was there to provide it. Jaylen Brown didn't have the greatest efficiency game. He was 6 for 14, but I thought, like, in terms of his energy, his vocal leadership, I thought Brown was there the entire time. Like, he was playing tough. You know, it's gonna be tough playing against Orlando, even though like we have a lot of space to drive. I thought him and Tatum didn't do a good enough job of just like driving straight. Like, even if the majority of the help that's gonna come from Orlando on our drives is at the rim. So if John Isaac's there, it's not gonna be heavy gap defense. They're not gonna double team a lot. So straight line drives is what Tatum and Brown need to be focused on. Even then, when I thought Brown could have picked his spots a little bit better on his drives, he could have shot better, of course. He was there mentally and physically the entire game. So there's nothing I can really say about Jaylen Brown. I like this game. Tatum, 17, 14, and 4. I didn't think he was there today at all. Of course, he has some times where he's gonna hit some shots because he's just that good. Also, the wrist injury stuff didn't. Yeah. I need LeBron James to buy him wrists for the betterment of the league. I need them to put the word in, send the invoice to Bron, and have Bron pick the people to put the wrist surgery in. Cause I don't know, man. We gotta get this fixed. But yeah, I just didn't think Tatum had it all game. Luckily the Celtics were still able to pull this out. Can't hate on Tatum and say he had a stinker and that he's the only superstar who can win a playoff game while shooting bad. Cause Shea just did it too. So, but just a reminder that special players and superstars still aren't perfect. Drew Holiday, again, we talked about him. 15 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 50% from the field. There's also been a lot of talk about Drew this season, about, you know, potentially trading Drew. Drew is a 16 game player, right? Drew is one of those guys where in the playoffs, you know he's going to make a play. There are not many better defensive playmakers in the playoffs than Drew Holiday. There just aren't. And he's a guy that's gonna come to play when we need him to. There hasn't been the biggest of pressure situations where Drew has let us down yet. The experience, the defense, the versatility, the 3-point shooting of Drew Holiday cannot be underestimated. And Kristaps, man. Kristaps was a guy that I thought, especially on the offensive side of the ball, was really gonna be pivotal in this game, because the January 17th game, he was what, 7 for 10, and he got whatever he wanted from 2, stuff like that. I just thought, you know, he would have the switches. It was gonna be really easy for us to get switches. Well, Orlando really played a lot of that stuff tough, especially our pick and rolls where they were just fighting over it. It took us some time to really like get into stuff because they were just being a really tough team, especially in the first half where I thought they were tougher than us. But overall, KP was really into it in the passing lanes. He deflected a lob, had 4 steals, I believe, had a block and some stuff like that. So I didn't hate KP's game. I just think offensively, like, he only scored 5 points. Our third best offensive player scored 5. Well, I don't know, but KP only scored 5 points, and that's our X factor. But that is a wrap for this video. That is a wrap for game 1. The Celtics will be back against Orlando Magic back in TD Garden, looking to go 2-0. Again, I just don't think Orlando has enough scoring. Like, you get 40 from Paolo, you damn near get 25 from Franz. You have a second quarter where they start hitting some threes, and it's just, they didn't even crack 90. Wait, did they even crack 90 points? I don't think they hit 90 points. They scored 86 points. They scored 86 points, and Paolo had 40. They just don't have enough to score with us. And even on a down night for us offensively, where we have 103 points, it's a blowout. So yeah, I expect the Celtics to be better offensively. I don't expect, like, they can hit 100, maybe 95, but the Celtics barely hitting 100 points. I expect us to be better offensively. I expect us to have better pockets of quarters defensively. Like, Paolo just got whatever he wanted in the fourth, which, I mean, the game was over, but like, that's like 8 to 10 points less if we are serious, or this is a close game. So I expect the Celtics to be better. I expect them to come out a little bit more prepared for what the Magic are gonna do. We need to run more angle pick and roll. Like, every time we ran angle pick and roll, especially the drag, where they missed a shot, like, going up against their set defense is hard. So when they miss a shot and we get directly into drag angle pick and roll and they're not set, they're still backpedaling, and we're going forward and we're setting that angle pick and roll, and we're either giving it right to Tatum in a post, or we're reversing it and then throwing it in because that's the best angle. We did that twice and it worked perfectly both times. We just got to keep doing it. But that's the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and share it in everyone as you can. Just show out there a little bit more. I will see you guys in the next video. This is Nick. Peace.